Was that Salt Bay I just witnessed at the beginning of this episode of Reincarnated as a Slime? Are they legit using memes? Now, if anyone can confirm for me, please do in the comments below. Was the Salt Bay meme used in the manga? Was that ever used? I highly doubt it was used in the light novel. I doubt, because I believe the light novel was written before probably Salt Bay was ever a thing. But if anyone can confirm, please do so, because that was a straight up meme. There's just no way, because it literally, they had the hand symbol, like the way they had their hand with the salt coming down. That was meme. That was a straight up meme, and I'm just like, these animators are either having a lot of fun, and they're memeing on people, or the manga is just really ahead of its time. Like, it's utilizing memes that I just never expected. But regardless, I'm pretty impressed by that beginning. That definitely was the highlight of this episode for me. But okay, this episode of Reincarnated as a Slime. It feels like this series has just begun a whole other direction that I think many of us have not expected. Because when we think about what the story's been about, like up to this very point of the story, it's been about Rimuru pretty much building a nation. He's been building up a nation, getting allies, getting trade deals, offers, etc., for his nation could flourish. And so, that's kind of what the entirety of this has been about. And when you look at this episode, you can kind of think of it maybe as a very long prologue. Because there was basically telling us 2 years have passed since the story began, of Reincarnated as a Slime. And now that a nation's been formed, a small nation, all these races coming together in the Jura Forest, you know, things are prosperous. And I feel like now with Rimuru going on his journey to finish what Shizu started, or, you know, get rid of her regrets, is the main beef of the story, the meat of what we should expect going forward now from the rest of the series, because that's been the entire objective set up since basically the early stages of the story, is that when Rimuru finally got his human form, you know, Shizu's body, he learned that to carry on her legacy after her death, he would, you know, finish off her regrets, make it to where she, you know, can live in peace, or, you know, have, you know, peace in death. And I wonder now if this story will take a shift, because he's now raising children. It's a very huge leap compared to what we've been seeing going on, because, I mean, creating a nation is one thing, but raising children and letting them know that they're basically going to die in 5 years is another. It honestly is reminiscent of Assassination Classroom. I don't know how many of you guys have either read that manga or watched the anime. If you have not read the manga, seriously, read it. It's amazing shonen. And if you haven't watched the anime, seriously, it's an amazing anime. So, regardless of however you digest the content of Assassination Classroom, I recommend it. It's a really good series. But the whole theme of Rimuru looking over the children and watching over them reminds me of that. And I highly doubt it's going to be to the same level of quality as, you know, Koro-sensei. But even then, I do think this is an interesting direction. Rimuru now caring for kids that are from the other world and will pretty much die in 5 years, and having to figure out an answer to fix them within that time, it's going to be hard to overcome. Unless, I'm assuming, but anything can happen, we know that Rimuru's gluttony ability, being able to absorb things and all that and get stronger, is very broken. So for all we know, he might be able just to suck out all the energy from these children to where they will not die within 5 years. But at the same time, if he does do that, he might make it to where they're not able to use magic or something anymore, which in turn would mean that they're no longer technically heroes or anything, and they might want to keep their powers. They are kids. They're aged 9, 10, 11. They might want to keep their powers. They want probably to do stuff, and so I don't think it would be a good thing if Rimuru was to take everything from them. So there's a lot of things that could happen, but caring for 5 kids is gonna be interesting. Which, by the way, speaking of the kids, the last girl that was introduced, I think her name was Chloe. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments below. But the final kid that was introduced, the girl, all of a sudden Rimuru felt a tremble inside of him, which he realized that something happened to Veldra. I'm assuming, just going on a limb here, assuming that the girl is probably related to the person that sealed up Veldra. As we know, Veldra was sealed up by a hero a long time ago, and he was pretty much slowly dying thanks to being sealed. I wonder if that girl is either the same person, maybe reincarnated again, like a phoenix or something, or if it's like the child of an individual. Who really knows? But I feel like for Veldora to react like that, it's definitely someone connected to him, and we might get some more information on Veldora very soon, which I really want, because honestly, I miss, the Tsundere Dragon. The Tsundere Dragon from episode 1 was amazing, and it kind of sucks that someone like Veldora has really not been really relevant to the story. Like, he's relevant, okay? I'm not saying he's useless. I mean, he's kind of the whole reason why everything's happening, and why the Great Forest, Federation happened, but I want his character back. I want to see him interacting with everything, and seeing what Rimuru has built, and, seeing him finally free wandering around on the land. I want that again. But for now, though, I just wonder if we're going to get more information very soon because of that reaction from him. So, okay, backtracking though, let's, talk about the early stages of the episode. So, episode begins off very fan servicey, so to say. We have a hot spring episode showcasing that Rimuru, he can be anything. We know he's pretty much both genders. He can be anything he wants. He can get in both sides of the bath and all that, and that man, he was in the male's bath, I think, in the last episode, and then in the female's bath in this episode. Still using his rubber slime ducky thing still, though. I appreciate that. They need to sell that merchandise. But, Milliam, by the way, she decides to leave, which I'm kind of shocked about. She's been kind of a character that's been here for the past few episodes, and her whole purpose was kind of just to intermingle with Rimuru, kind of say, we're besties, we're best friends and all that, and, I just want to have a lot of fun. I mean, the entire point of her character was kind of just be this wild card, and nobody really wanted to mess with Rimuru because of just how strong she is. And with her leaving, it might open the door up for more people to come in and try to mess with him, because Milliam is now gone. And as we know, they were trying to investigate Rimuru, all the Demon Lords, to figure out if, they can get him under their control, turn him into another Demon Lord, and obviously Milliam wasn't really that successful with it. She wasn't able to turn him into one, but with her basically saying she was going to tell all the Demon Lords that, Rimuru and his entire country is under her protection, I still think that's going to open the door up for a lot of problems, because I highly doubt all of the Demon Lords really like Milliam. They probably don't like the fact that she probably gained such a massive power within, the world, because the Great Forest of Jura is a pretty massive part of the land, at least the continent, and having Milliam pretty much watching over that really kind of upsets the balance of all the Demon Lords, and like I said, I just don't think they're going to be able to agree with that. It's probably going to cause some conflicts and throw Rimuru into the mix, where he's going to probably have to settle it. And what's bad about this is that Rimuru's technically not there anymore. He's not at his capital city anymore. He's way off in another country trying to, finish off Shizu's, lingering regrets. And so if something does happen to his capital, well, it's GG, because, I mean, look, they weren't really able to defeat, the creature in the last episode without Rimuru's help, or Milliam's, so when you look at all this, if something happens, they're all gonna die. They will, unless Milliam comes in and protects everyone. But, like I said, she's probably doing her own thing, and I highly doubt she'll come back that quickly after just going out of her way and leaving. So, who knows? Time Rimuru gets back to his country, it might be burnt to the ground and completely gone and no longer exist. Which, I don't think this series will get that dark. I mean, it has gotten dark in certain places, but I just don't think after, Rimuru's work for 2 years and all that with the setup, that, all of that progress would be just demolished in like a day. I doubt. Big doubts. By the way, progress and all that, Rimuru does get to meet one of Shizu's students. And he's like a leader of this company or whatever, or guildmaster, that's what he is. He's a guildmaster. Rimuru talks to the man, and he's a big otaku. Oh yes, a very big otaku. The man loves his manga, by the way. And seeing how he was interacting with Rimuru was pretty hilarious, because Rimuru used an ability with the Great Sage to recreate manga volumes. And when you think about how powerful Rimuru is and what his abilities are, using his massive amount of power to create manga volumes just seems like such a waste. I mean, to me it's not, because oh man, if I was stuck in another world and I, knew there was series and stuff and I didn't know how it concluded, and then someone came into my world that was like 20 years in the future down the road in my world or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, tell me what happens, all that in these certain series. So Rimuru just made that dude's day. It would make my day if I was in that world, but I just feel like, in terms of everything that he's capable of, creating manga volumes is probably one of the most mundane things you can do, but hilarious. But, yeah, that's honestly kind of all that happened in this episode. It's a very simple episode. Like, it's mainly just setting up the final episodes. We only have 3 episodes left for this story, and does it really have enough time to conclude this little arc that Rimuru getting himself into? I'm kind of curious about that. Or will we have a Season 2 announcement? I don't know really how much content is left to be animated. Like, I don't know how many light novel volumes are out. If anyone could confirm, please do so. But I do wonder if we might have a Season 2, since there's only 3 episodes left to the story. But I want to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.